President Trump standing by his claim that millions of illegal votes were cast in the election and saying that he is launching an investigation into voter fraud, even though many Republicans do not want him to go there. He's pointing to voters registered in more than one state. And it turns out some in his inner circle are registered in more than one state. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross has more.
The president's call for an investigation on voter fraud is based in large part on this 56-year-old Texas man, Greg Phillips, dismissed by top election officials as little more than a conspiracy theorist blogger.
I may be a wacko, I may be a nut, I don't know.
Phillips claims, with no evidence to back it up, that the Obama Department of Homeland Security hacked the election and that there were millions of illegal votes.
3 million non-citizens voted in this election. I'm certain of that.
State officials say there is no evidence to support that, but it did not stop the president on Friday from offering a ringing Twitter endorsement of Phillips and his organization. Greg Phillips and crew say at least 3 million votes were illegal. We must do better. Trump spent the week pushing the false claim he lost the popular vote because of fraud, doubling down on what he told David Muir on Wednesday.
You have people that are registered who are dead, who are illegals, who are in 2 states. You have people registered in 2 states. They're registered in a New York and a New Jersey. They vote twice. There are millions of votes, in my opinion.
But among the millions registered in 2 states are some people very close to the president. His son-in-law and White House senior advisor Jared Kushner, registered in New York and New Jersey. His daughter Tiffany, registered in New York and Pennsylvania. His chief strategist, Steve Bannon, who until this week was registered in Florida and New York. And his press secretary, Sean Spicer, registered in Rhode Island and Virginia. None break the law unless they vote twice.
It's very frequent that people move from one state to another. It's up to the election officials to notify the officials in the other state. The voter isn't required to do that, and there's nothing illegal about doing that.
Of the 136 million voters in the last election, fewer than a dozen are alleged to have voted twice, including this Trump supporter in Iowa, who has pleaded not guilty to state criminal charges, saying she did not know what came over her. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
And we thank Brian for that report. Let's bring in ABC News political commentator Cokie Roberts. Cokie, so great to see you this morning. Now, earlier we mentioned the president's executive order for the extreme vetting of refugees. Now, his supporters will say this is exactly what politicians are supposed to do. You make a promise and you deliver. But there's been backlash all over the world, even here in the U.S. as well.
Lots of backlash and lots of questions about whether it's constitutional. You can be sure there'll be quite a few challenges. But you know, the truth is, Tom, that many of these refugees, particularly the ones coming to the United States, are children. According to UNICEF, the UN agency dealing with children, there were 8 million child refugees right now in the world. And so this is going to be something that you're going to hear a lot about, and a lot of screaming from Congress. You already saw those pictures of the Statue of Liberty crying. And a question of whether this is actually harmful to U.S. interest, because it shows the Muslim world that we seem to have a prejudice against Muslims as a country, particularly when the president says he's going to let in Christians and not Muslims. So it's going to be highly problematic. I suspect that when it starts to affect the business community, that the president will hear about it very loudly.
Yeah, is there that balance, though, between compassion and vigilance? I'm going to play a soundbite from the new U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley. She's also making headlines for comments that she made on Friday saying America will show its strength. I want you to listen to this soundbite and then weigh in.
The way that we'll show value is to show our strength, show our voice, have the backs of our allies, and make sure that our allies have our back as well. For those that don't have our back, we're taking names.
They are taking names. Cokie, that's a really strong stance right out of the gate from the Trump administration. How do you think that's going to be viewed around the globe?
Well, I think that you have to put it in context because the UN, right at the end of the Obama administration, of course, passed a resolution against Israel, and so that's what this is in response to, in large measure. But she did go on to talk about the programs that are working we'll back, the ones that are broken we'll fix, and the ones that are obsolete we'll get rid of. And there is a lot of fat in the UN, and the United States is the biggest contributor. So talking about actually shaping it up a little bit is probably something that a lot of people will welcome.
All right, Cokie Roberts for us this morning. Cokie, thank you so much.